Hi, I'm Rick Burnley, editor of Kayak Angler Magazine. I'm here with Matt Arey, Elite Series angler at the Lunkerhunt booth, and he's got a couple new baits he wants to show us that he's going to be using this year. Tell us about what you got here.
Yeah, so this is part of the new Black Line series, and the first one we're going to show you is the striker worm. So we've got it in a 4.5-inch version, we've got it in a 6.5-inch version. One thing that I wanted super soft plastic. I wanted it scented. I wanted it to stink, basically. So we've actually got squid scent in these little dudes right here, and you can open up a pack behind me and you'll see what I'm talking about, but I love it. But this thing right here, my favorite way to fish this worm is probably Nico rigging. I've been testing this bait a little bit in the past month. I've been fighting with the guys at Lunkerhunt trying to get me more as fast as they can because I keep catching so many fish on them, I'm tearing them up. You can also fish this worm on a shaky head. You can fish it on drop shot, and you can fish it on a Texas rig. You can also fish this thing weightless, believe it or not. It's got enough salt content in it where it falls nicely, it shimmies on the fall and things like that. But Nico rigging, which is kind of one of the hottest techniques in the bass fishing world now, is probably my favorite way to fish this worm right here. But 6.5-inch version, 4.5-inch version, a lot of really cool colors. This color is actually called Tan Lines. And I thought it was a pretty creative name by the guys at Lunkerhunt. But yeah, that's a little spotted bass killer, smallmouth killer, and catches them all over the southeast. Obviously, this is just good old green pumpkin blue flake. This is a staple pretty much anywhere you go. Second bait, we're going to stick with the soft baits for a minute, but we needed a minnow in our lineup. So best thing about this minnow is we decided to go with a size that I feel like meets kind of the normal hatch for the entire southeast region. Majority of the United States, that average size bait fish is around 3.5 inches. So I thought it was the perfect size. So this little dude right here, super soft, again, heavy salt, very scented, and you can fish this thing multiple ways. Now, obviously, with the jig head, using forward-facing sonar and things like that, that's the hottest technique, but don't sleep on fishing this thing on a drop shot rig, and also fishing it on a jig head, just hopping that thing along the bottom. And what a lot of people don't realize, especially in clear water fisheries, sometimes when we get cloudy days, those fish will relate directly to the bottom and not necessarily set up on brush piles, rock piles, and things like that. I'll fish this thing on a jig head, and I'll just bottom hop it, basically. Get a lot of bites doing that, too.
What size jig head would you use with that?
Anywhere from an 1/8 to a 3/16, depending on how deep I'm fishing. And this is called the Twitch Witch. So it's a little 3.5-inch minnow. And I'm going to finish off, save the best for last. This is the BLB. And y'all can figure out what that stands for, but we won't spoil it. But this little hard bait right here, it is actually kind of a little hybrid bait. So it looks kind of like a spy bait without the blades on it. But what this dude does is when you fall it out, it's got a great sink rate. And on the fall, it does this. It shimmies on the fall. So you get a lot of reaction bites on the fall. You can fish it just like you can a spoon or a blade bait. So I fish it similar to like how I fish a blade bait. So I'll throw it out there, make a long cast, let it go to the bottom. I'll lift it up, let it go back down, lift it up, let it go back down. When it falls, the action is absolutely amazing. That's when it gets bites. We've got this in a 3-inch and a 3.5-inch. It's got a great little weight distribution system in there where you can cast this thing an absolute mile. Also a killer on schooling fish and things like that.
You were talking about Nico rigging and drop shotting.
Yeah.
Give us a tip for Nico rigging, or something that you think you do that other people maybe don't, or something that could take people's rigging or tactic to a different level.
Yeah, so a couple little things, and I've actually got some in some of our videos that we just uploaded to YouTube, but one of the biggest things I've actually, for most of my Nico rigging, I'm using tungsten weights now, and I'm using a screw-in tungsten weight. One of the biggest problems that we have now is a lot of the ones that you just stick in, they don't stay. You skip the worm around, you make a lot of casts with it, and the weight falls out. So it takes time to re-rig that weight. But I use a little screw-in style tungsten. Actually, there's a couple different companies out there that make really good ones. Mustad makes a really good one. So that's probably tip number one. The other thing is where I locate that hook. These worms right here, and most of them on the market do, but they have a little egg sac there towards the top of the head. I'll actually set my O-ring or my little whatever kind of tool I'm using to rig it with right below at the bottom of the egg sac. And that seems to be the perfect spot to where when this thing's sitting on the bottom, it's not too far back to where it's killing the action on the tail. It's far enough forward to where the head's sitting on the bottom just like that, and it gives that tail maximum action. So the base of that egg sac is where I like to rig my O-ring or whatever you use it and thread my hook through right there.
Wow, that's priceless. Those are some great tips from Matt for a pro angler, and these new Lunkerhunt baits, how to use them and get the most out of them. I really appreciate it, man. That's great stuff.
My pleasure.
Thank you.